stage, see if you can see anything. Right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our stage today for our Futurama panel. We have first Billy West. You know him as the voice of Fry, amongst many others. I love your courtesy.
Hi, everybody.
And we have Phil Lamar. The voice, of course, of Hermes. And we have Lauren Tom. As Amy, who plays, of course, Amy Wongan. And we also have Maurice LaMarche. Calculon amongst many other voices.
I'm programmed to be very, very busy, but I suppose I'll sit with you.
Stepping on Phil's intro.
And lastly, we've got a gentleman who you may know as Howard in the Rugrats. He's also been the drunken French monkey in Dr. Dolittle series, and he's been in many, many Pixar films, and in anime, video games, and of course Toy Story 1 and 2. Please get up for Philip Proctor! Wow.
All right.
Now there's an introduction.
Well, here's the thing, though. Phil Proctor was
introduction.
laying brick on the road to comedy while we were all in high school. He's part of something that's so legendary in comedy in America. It's called the Firesign Theater. That was our Monty Python, and so he is a legend. Phil Proctor is one of my heroes, and
Thank you.
just want you to know that.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you. The fire sign what? Oh, yes, I remember. All right.
Firesign Chats.
Yes, good. All right.
With Franklin Roosevelt.
But we're here for Futurama, so let's go.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to ask questions, please stick your hand up and I will run around and answer. I knew that. As soon as I said that, their hands would shoot up.
Oh,
like
here's the
rockets.
monitors.
Yeah, but he's on.
There you go.
What was it like when you? What was it like when you first heard that you would be working with the team that brought The Simpsons?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, that is an excellent question.
Well, I think it was, for me, it was kind of intimidating because first you had to go audition for Matt Groening. And, I mean, that's like, okay, you're going to be recording a record with Elvis. Or you have a chance to.
Yeah, I mean, that was exactly what went through my mind. When Matt Groening, he's going to see right through me. He's a genius, and he's going to see that all I've been doing is a brilliant imitation of talent. I don't actually have talent. And I got in the room with Matt and David, and they could have been freer and easier. I thought it would be this very intimidating sort of, council of the elders. And we're just sitting around on couches. Well, what other ideas do you have for this? And, they showed pictures of characters, and I don't know if I got any particular character I read for, but I laid out absolutely everything I had for them. I was so nervous from the audition, and they had some very big TV stars waiting out in the waiting room, and I was just so surprised to get the call. And then thinking that I'm part of this sort of extended Simpsons family, it's quite a pedigree. It was just very exciting.
Wow.
And I was so nervous that when I get nervous, I tend to giggle a lot. And Matt just said, well, I don't know what we're going to do with you, but I got to have you because of that crazy laugh. And then I just felt like I had to laugh all the time when I was with them because I just wanted to make sure I still had my job.
Nice.
So that was my experience, but I was very excited when they took me on.
Wow. Do I go? Wait a minute. Are you talking about from the very beginning? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
The very beginning, I went into a room to audition with people, and there were a lot of heavyweights there. I mean, I don't know if you guys know who Ryan Stiles is, but he was on Whose Line Is It Anyway, which is a ripoff of a show you had here.
No, he was on the original as well.
Oh, he was? Okay, well, strike that from the record. But anyway, he was auditioning, and I wanted to, leave. As soon as I saw him, I said, oh, no, he's going to mop the floor with this audition. But, then they brought me back again, and I said, this is quite an honor. I was talking to somebody that was an assistant. I said, this is a real honor. I love Matt Groening. And she said, well, he knows who you are. And I go, I kind of know who he is, too.
And we have a question right in the back. I'm literally, that's where I'm waving my arm, look.
There he is.
All right,
Oh, there you are.
Well spotted, that man. All right, you have a question?
Hi guys. Basically, who would you consider your main characters, and if by some gastronomical event in space they managed to take on a superpower, what would it be?
Good luck with that one.
Well, I can't say we've had that question before.
Yeah? What kind of a question is it?
Most of our characters have had superpowers.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So we have to
that's
sit
true.
and figure
What was
out.
Fry's superpower in the
He was
Disco Man?
Disco Man or something.
Well, I believe you're
I feel
asking-
thoroughly stupid.
What was it?
Oh yeah.
Captain Yesterday.
Captain Yesterday. Oh, more? Okay. Zap Brannigan is like, Commander Libido. The way to a woman's bed is through her parents. Sleep with them and you're in.
I guess a lot of these people weren't here yesterday.
I mean,
Hey, it played.
I believe you asked what gastronomical event? That is where the head of Orson Welles in a jar would come in, my friend. Yes. Oh, you haven't seen that episode yet?
Nah.
Oh, we have an episode where Orson Welles' head is in a jar all through the episode. I'm sorry. I guess it would be if Calculon could develop even super unholy acting talent.
What would Amy's
okay, we have a question towards the middle of the audience here. And from
The Midlands.
Out of all the guest stars that have been on the show, who's been your favourite? Who's actually been? Morris, I love The Critic, and I love the episode with Orson Welles' advertisement. So could you do the Mrs. Pell's fish sticks?
You know, Mrs. Pell's Fish Sticks has, I think, about 500,000 hits on YouTube, and it's an offshoot of a famous outtake that Orson Welles. He was the spokesman for Findus Frozen Foods here in England. And the reason that I can do that impression, which led to, I don't know how many of you know a show called Pinky and the Brain? All right, so the voice of the brain is plainly my Orson Welles impression, but I want you to know, I would not have learned that impression if it weren't for Phil Proctor. We were working a job that went till almost midnight on New Year's Eve. I was so depressed, and Phil, sweetheart that he is, gave me this tape of these brilliant outtakes, including the Orson Welles outtake, and I memorized it. I learned it back and forth. So the brain exists because of Phil Proctor, ladies and gentlemen.
It's true.
So give him a hand.
We were doing Tasmania.
We were doing Tasmania.
Do you know
too.
Tasmania? Did they ever show Tasmania over here?
yeah, they did.
All right. I was the Australian koala bear, run away character. And that was a crazy, wonderful show. And it was because he memorized Orson Welles and performed it for the director and the producers and the writers as part of our sessions.
There you go.
They actually dedicated one of the stories to the Orson Welles character, remember?
That's correct, my friend.
And that was the beginning of, I
Mrs.
think,
Pell's
the brain.
Fish Sticks. No, was it? Oh, no, I thought it was Rosebud Frozen Peas. Rosebud Frozen Peas, full of natural goodness and green penis. Oh, that's terrible. I'm leaving. That's disgusting. I'll just take a few for the road. Oh, I found a French fry in my beard. What was the question?
He wanted to know about. I've lost the question too.
Guest star.
I moved on to the next one. So.
I think we've answered.
Right now, he's back here again.
Out of all the guest stars,
Oh, the
who do you
guest
think-
stars.
That's right.
There, that one.
I think having William Shatner on the show, playing William Shatner in Where No Fan Has Gone Before, had to be the most fantastic experience of all.
Well, go ahead.
I'd have to say there was an episode which I believe is still upcoming where Katie Sackhoff,
Yes.
Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica, guest starred. Now, I didn't work with her, but I hung out for like an hour after I was finished, just pretending to make calls and get coffee, just so I could meet her when she walked in.
Wow, cool. Favorite one was Pam Anderson.
I knew you were gonna say that. All the guys in the
All the
whole
guys
show.
were like lining up, drooling, and she had people. She had advanced people. She had a bodyguard, and they were all like Miss Anderson's in the front foyer, you know. And then Miss Anderson is ready to walk into the recording studio, and I felt intimidated, so I had to turn it inside out, or I wouldn't be able to do anything. And I said, Miss Anderson, I don't know if you know this or not, but there's this tape going around of you. You know, the Tommy Lee, the sexual romps, according to those two. But you know, you got to break the ice with people, and she turned out to be just as normal as, you know, as she could be.
Okay, we have a question right in the back again, over here.
Okay.
Hello. Right, this young man here.
I got a question for each of you. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, it's about your past roles in other cartoons. Like Futurama. I did felt like being Samurai Jack.
Oh, Samurai Jack was a fantastic experience because it was such an amazing show. Just everything about it, the design, the storytelling. And I have to say, as a voiceover actor, it was one of the easiest jobs because the character barely ever spoke. You know, there would be somebody, you know, a guest star who would come in and say, over this mountain and through these woods, there is a vase that has the pin. It's like, and then Jack would just go, do not worry, I will find it. And then there'd be 10 minutes of action.
Okay, once for Maurice the Mars.
Yes.
How did it feel like playing Egon Spangler from Ghostbusters?
Dr. Egon Spengler collected spores, mold, and fungus as a hobby. And he was tremendous fun to play because he was very deadpan.
That was actually my second really big job. The first one was Inspector Gadget playing Henchman, but that was the first time I'd gotten to play a main character on a show. Tremendous fun. Joe Straczynski, J. Michael Straczynski, who created Babylon 5, actually was the showrunner on that, and he made sure that each and every script was of a quality that it could have made a good Ghostbusters movie. So Ghostbusters was one of the happiest experiences of my early career, getting to work on that show and playing Egon. And they didn't want any of us to do an impression of the guys in the movie. In fact, Ernie Hudson read for the part of Winston Zeddemore. Only two guys read for it. Ernie and Arsenio Hall, and Arsenio got it. And I remember at the audition, Arsenio looked at me and went, what am I doing here? There's Ernie Hudson. And he booked the job, and we were friends from stand-up comedy. He couldn't believe, we saw each other at the Comedy Store that night, and he couldn't believe he booked the job. And I was the only guy that, because I had no ideas for Egon, I went in and did Harold Ramis. And I broke the rule, and they gave me the job anyway.
Wow.
So it was a tremendous thing. It was a great job, a lot of fun.
Once for Lorraine Tom. How did it feel like being in King of the Hill?
Oh gosh, that was just such a blast for me. I remember that I kind of channeled my grandmother when I was playing Min, because that's how my grandma spoke. Only she was a lot harsher, so the director was always trying to say, could you lighten up her voice a little? So I was like, oh, because I wanted to make it like, oh, Peggy Hill, your shoes look like a boat. No, later. Oh, Peggy Hill, your shoes are so big, like a boat. And because he wanted it to be like where you're really sweet, but saying the meanest things possible. So that was fun for me, and then I got to play her daughter too, who had no accent, and that's kind of nice for the Asian community to kind of be out there and being an American too.
Billy West.
Yes.
How did it feel like playing Invader Zim on the pilot episode?
I forget that I did it.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. And then my friend Richie Horvitz came in, and he wound up doing Zim. I guess the guy that Jonan?
Yeah.
Jonan, the creator of the show, thought that I was overexposed. And so I exposed myself to him. No. But he went with Richie Horvitz, who I absolutely love. I hold him in the highest esteem, and we've worked together on stuff. So there's no weirdness, you know. It's like there's always something new for you to do.
Final one. What's all of your favorite quotes from any shows out there you took part in? What's your favorite quote from any of those shows? Or do you have one? For the rest.
Okay.
Your quote could be from Ren and Stimpy.
Okay, well, I was in some of the early Nicktoons. I don't know if you remember the show Doug. Did you watch that?
My name is Doug Fernie, and I'm a painfully average 11-and-a-half-year-old. And this is my dog, Porkchop. And, here comes my bully friend, Roger. He's not really my friend, though. Hey, loser! Hey, funny! Roger Klotz here. Vote for this!
All right. And then there was Ren and Stimpy. It's like,
Hey, Ren, will you button me? Will you shut up, you fool? Else I shall kill you!
it's obnoxious. I have to be stopped.
Okay, we have a question back in the middle again.
If you could have any of the characters you've voiced in Futurama meet any other character that you've voiced in the past, who would it be and how would the conversation pan out?
Oh, jeez.
See, in case you've forgotten, you're at a comic book convention. All right, could the Hulk beat...
Mo's thinking. I can
Who'd
see
your
that.
characters?
I'm
Let's
trying
see,
to think
Amy,
who would I like to have meet.
You've stumped us.
Okay.
I know,
The conversation would go like this.
G-Brain, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, horrible gelatinous blob. Try to take over the...
Oh, me. Yeah, I was stumped. I guess it would be like Stimson J. Cat and Zoidberg. You know, it's like,
Hello, Dr. Zoidberg. Can I ask you a couple of questions?
why, sure, young retarded cat.
How come there's no boogers and farts in your show?
Because it's puerile. Now, excuse me while I go have a maggot sandwich. We have to be fearless here.
Exactly. What if Hermes met the Green Lantern? Let's see.
No, the first thing you got to do is make sure you memorize the oath. Look, I've memorized the oath. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil, yada yada yada. What's can I get my ring now? No, you got to sign the paperwork first.
So if Amy met number 3 from Kids Next Door, it might go, Amy, do you like rainbow monkeys? Well, yeah. If he's like, yeah, rich and cute, maybe I'd like him.
What if Howard from Rugrats met your character from Assassin's Creed?
Oh, well, Howard would probably, since he's already animated, he's halfway to the animus. I think that you probably will never be admitted to the inner sanctum, Howard, because you're such a squeaky little... Never mind. Oh, but please let me in. I can kill somebody if I really have to. I've got a sharp pencil.
How about that, gamers?
A question down the front, I think we did. It was you. Good.
If you could voice any cartoon character in the history of the medium, which one would you voice?
Ooh.
Tough choice.
Fry. Oh, wait, no.
Good news, everyone. I've got bad news.
Yeah?
I guess, and I'm not saying this to troll for, because I know it's now becoming future work, but it was my favorite classic show growing up was the Flintstones. I'd love a crack at Fred Flintstone in the new in the new Flintstones show. Well, Bonnie, I gotta go and bang Wilma now. Hey, it's Seth MacFarlane. What do you think? Of course.
Outrageous.
There are kids in the
I'm out of toilet paper, Bon.
If I could, let's see, it would have to be classic character.
You've already played Bugs Bunny.
Yes, I like Bugs Bunny, and I would love to play him. Oh, wait a minute, I did. In Space Jam.
And I got to work with Michael Jordan, Doc. The closest thing to a religious figure that we have.
You gotta love Bugs.
Wait.
Classic character?
Popeye the Sailor Man was actually my famous, and that's about the only impersonation I can do of him, unless somebody brings me a can of spinach. Anybody? No, well, too bad.
Don't tempt them.
Pretty weak, thank you, sorry. They're the impersonators.
Right, I have a question for this young lady.
You've probably been asked this question before, but which was your favorite episode either to record or to watch now, and why?
Of what show?
I'm assuming a Futurama.
Oh, okay.
Favorite episode?
My favorite one is when Amy and Kif get together for the first time.
That was Amazon Women in the Mood, wasn't it? Yeah, Amazon Women in the Mood's a good one. They forced me to sing in that one, the karaoke scene, singing Total Eclipse of the Heart. It took me about 52 takes to hit those notes. I'm naturally a baritone, so to get up to where Kif was singing. But that was a lovely episode, and it really sort of opened something up between our characters and showed a different side for each of us. Because prior to that, I think Kif was kind of a one-note character, just constantly rolling his eyes, sighing, being exasperated with Zap, and Amy was
like
just
a
kind of
slutty party girl, you know.
So for us to kind of get to develop a real love relationship and show that facets of the character was rewarding.
I think my favorite episode to record was how Hermes requisitioned his groove back.
Yeah,
because I got to do a musical number. Although at the time I didn't enjoy it; it was just nerve-wracking. My favorite episode to watch was the Holofunner episode where Fry shows his love for Leela, just because it was so sweet and romantic.
Wasn't it the last episode of the first season? Yeah. It wasn't meant to be. It was made like before.
Well, they had of the first iteration.
Yes, but I was busy watching football. I couldn't be bothered with Futurama. No, they kept preempting Futurama for football games. I like any cartoon that has the musical numbers in it. I think if I could narrow that down, it would have to be The Devil's Hands or Idle Playthings, because we had Dan Castellaneta, who's Homer Simpson and a million other voices, and he played the robot devil. So that was just nothing but fun, and we got to do an operetta written by Ken Keeler, who also writes a lot of the episodes. So,
the second devil.
Oh, yeah, the second one. But you know, it's musical numbers are great. We have tons of fun. We screw up things, and they tape it, and we listen back, and we go, oh, we got to really get on our toes.
Because most of the writers on our staff have like advanced degrees. And Ken Keeler, who does most of the music, has more of them than anybody. So the music that he creates is very unlike most cartoon music. Most cartoon music is really simple, like plunk, 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 plunk. He's got these intricate harmonies, and it's hard work. Like, okay, so actually, no, it's ma 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 na. You sure? Okay. And you really have to work, and it brings you up. It raises your game.
So now you know the rest of the story.
Okay, we have a question right over the side here now. There you are. I'm jumping up down. Okay.
I'm sorry. To Maurice, what would Master Fang from Shaolin Showdown say to Brain if they met each other?
This is such a measure.
Hey. Say what you say. Say it into the microphone, Phil.
Dance, monkey, dance!
Okay, next question.
Brain. You got it. Brain.
finished.
No. Here it is. It's just. Now, next question. I don't know let me think here. Fung. Now, Master Fung, very calm, very peaceful. Brain, you must quell this need you have to constantly take over the world. Oh, go get stuffed, Master Fung. I don't know. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I have from the Brain and Fung. Fungy and the Brain. It's a good question, though. Too good for me, unfortunately. You beat me.
What does she get?
Sorry, I have a Futurama question. I'm wondering if you could just tell us what the real reason is why your characters dislike Dr. Zoidberg so much.
Because he's Trafe. No.
Because he's what? Probably just for conflict. You know, the writers probably just wrote that in, right?
Don't tell me, tell them.
No, I think maybe just for conflict, because, you know, it always makes...
I think the real reason is he's awful. He's an awful person. And that's why he has no money, is because he is awful. No.
Yeah, my character never I mean, most of my character, I don't think I've ever had a scene with Zoidberg, but I would imagine, you know, he's a crustacean. And I would imagine he gives off quite an odor. You know, at least his shed shells do. And we respond to odors. So I think even if we want to like somebody, if they smell, we can't, you know. So I think it's olfactory.
So you're saying it's crustaceanism?
It's crustaceanism. It's a type of crustaceanism.
I thought I was among friends. Oh.
I would say if you can't shower, at least douse yourself in lemon butter sauce.
I like the...
We're in the middle again.
Back to the middle!
How did you find the voice of your characters? Did you like?
I found them delicious.
Mine was under the...
Did you like get shown pictures of the character and then you just had to work on it?
Yes. Why do I'm taking
That's
the
okay,
point on
go,
every
Mo.
question. Look, for me, you know, as I said in my audition, I have no idea what pitches I hit and what pitches I, you know, just struck out on. But I know that once I got Kif, which was in episode 3, I was shown a picture of Kif, and we worked I covered this yesterday in the panel, so if you were here. Matt had very specific ideas about who Kif was. So the model sheet didn't necessarily inform the character so much as him wanting, you know, something that sounded very put upon, very much as though it was Leonard Nimoy having to deal with, or Mr. Spock having to deal with William Shatner rather than Captain Kirk. A lot of exasperation, and we kind of fine-tuned the voice by working through and filtering different impressions. It became sort of Truman Capote meets John Lovitz. So in that case, the picture didn't inform it at all. It was Matt's specific direction.
And for me, I was shown a picture, and Amy looked very tough. She was a mechanic dressed in fatigues with boots and like really butch looking. And as I said, after he met me and liked my laugh, he decided to just change the character and make her a lot more girly. And also Leela was already being tough, so it was a good, you know, balance.
I discovered the voice of my character under duress. Because the first 4 episodes, Hermes had a completely different voice, and it wasn't working. So I was on the verge of being replaced. And Matt Groening asked me if I could do a Jamaican accent, and I said yes. Oh, yes, boss. Yeah. From that, the accent helped them find the character, and then the writing sort of kicked in. And I wasn't fired.
That's how it's done, huh? They show you a bunch of pictures when you go to audition. They tell you a little bit about the characters. And then it's kind of up to you to throw a bunch of crap against the wall and see if anything sticks. And hopefully it'll be, you know, something they might be interested in or in the ballpark. And then they'll call you back and they'll go, we loved a certain thing you did. And they'll try to help you fine tune it. And so when I saw Fry, I said, I got to do something that if I ever get fired and they look for someone else, it'll be hard because it's really hard to imitate a plain vanilla speaking voice, which was me at 25 years old.
Man, all this constant exposure to radiation is making me thirsty.
25 years old. And Zoidberg, it was self-explanatory. He had all that cool meat hanging off his face. So obviously he'd be a marble mouth, and I kind of cold fused a Yiddish theater actor named Lou Jacoby and a guy that was from vaudeville in the old days in show business named George Jessel, and they were both marble mouths. So I kind of put them together, and it's like,
was that from the name?
What's that?
Was Zoidberg, were you intentionally going to do like a Jewish-y sounding voice?
No, I heard that Zoidberg was from Jupiter. What?
You got a groan.
Oh, I did? Well, I wish I was dead. Does that make you happy?
In Futurama, they just cut your head off and bring you back.
Okay, I have a question for your man here in the middle, so.
Can we hear Hermie sing some of the Bureaucrat song?
Whoa.
Yes, it's on DVD Season 1. Episode 3, available right outside. Yeah.
When I was young, just a little boy in Kingston Town.
Is that? Yeah.
That's it.
You did it.
Very little bit. 25.
What a tease.
That's all I remember.
Okay.
I want to get it wrong.
We're still in the middle?
How about Futurama movie?
Oh, you mean in like the theaters?
Is there a Futurama movie?
There's talk of that. Just chatter, but
Yes, hopefully they'll get it done before movies are dead as an art form.
yeah. I mean, the four direct to DVDs, I think any of those could play as a theatrical movie. But every now and again they think about doing a theatrical Futurama. I think though The Simpsons was such an arduous task, the Simpsons movie, that I don't know that they'll ever get it done because it took so much to get that film into theaters.
Yeah, but wasn't it true that you guys actually were canceled at one point? This is a similar story to what happened with the Rugrats, and it was because of a DVD movie that you
True.
got your new life.
The DVD sales on the TV series were what made them bring back the show as the movies, and then the strong movie sales and DVD sales said that finally somebody at Fox Television went, we threw away a cash cow here. So
Which is a
we're
great
back.
opportunity to say thank you.
The fans
to
literally
all
brought
you
it back.
guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you to the
Because
fans.
That's why we're back.
Yeah, you guys. So thank you.
Yes, thank you
Yeah.
all. You brought it back.
Thank you.
As far as movies go, I just keep coming to work till they tell me don't come in anymore. Whatever it is, I'm right there. I'll do it. I have immigrant mentality. Like if I don't do the right witty little voice that day, I'll go home and my house will be gone.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, honestly, I think Futurama, because of the space element of it, would make a really good feature film in a way that a lot of animated shows might not. The problem is they would need the same people who are working on the series to do the movie, and they found with The Simpsons, it's incredibly difficult because an animated feature film takes years. So basically, they either have to stop doing the TV series to do a movie, for a couple of years, or they have to wait till they're canceled, and by then nobody wants to see the movie.
We're right at the back in the middle.
I was wondering if you could tell us about any lines or moments that just made you guys crack up too much during recording.
Probably something with DiMaggio, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
DiMaggio's first day of work, I warned DiMaggio because he'd never worked with Billy West before. And I handed him a pillow from the lounge. and I said, "You're going to need this." He looks at me like, "What? What?" I said, "Trust me, you're going to need this." Billy launches into his first page of dialogue. He's talking amongst himself, playing 4 characters at once. And John is just standing there, and he starts instinctively. He takes the pillow into his face, not to crack up and blow the take because we're recording. And he's hysterical, rocking back and forth in his chair, laughing into the pillow. because that's what it's like to work with Billy West. It's amazing. Even if the lines are hilarious, but even if the lines aren't so hilarious, just to watch Billy play and go in and out of character like that it just tickles you. It's unbelievable. So I can't think of any one line, but just the experience of working with Billy is like that all the time.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you.
You're the best.
Not really.
I guess I have one thing to say about all that. Yes, there was crack-up moments, but it was mostly Johnny DiMaggio that couldn't be contained. And I'm surprised they were so polite they didn't send him out of the studio. Like, can you go laugh in the men's room or something? But he would blow take after take. You'd have a great take, a great read of something, and you hear this snickering behind a pillow. And nobody could contain him. So take that.
And we're right back down the front. We've got a question here.
Hello?
Have any of you ever been tempted to use the phrase good news when you've been breaking bad news to someone?
I say that all the time at home. My kids do too. Yeah.
I'm far too sensitive for that.
Not me.
It's a great line.
I try to find ways to fit it into daily life, and it's almost impossible. I think if I ran a company, it would be easier.
Well, one could say that life in America is becoming increasingly cartoon-like, right?
Yes, but there's less and less good news.
Yeah, that's right. We don't.
We have a question right over the side over here.
Hi there. I was hoping you might have some advice for aspiring voice actors in the audience.
I do. Wait till we retire, then come on in.
Good advice.
The door's wide open after we've all retired. No. If I'm asked anything, or if there's any one continuing piece of advice that I give to people who come to me, and I don't do a workshop, I'm not good at teaching, but the thing that people forget, they think that doing this is just having a bunch of silly voices or interesting voices. Voicing is, having the ability to mold your voice is just part of it. You've got to be a good actor. So I always tell people who want to break into this, yes, do a voiceover, workshop, whatever, but also take an acting class. Take several acting classes. Take improv classes. Take dramatic classes. This is acting. We just don't wait for hair lighting and makeup, and we hit our mark in front of the microphone. And yes, we get to not memorize, but read if we want to. But always remember, it's an acting job. So polish your skills as an actor, as well as polish your facility of using your voice. That's my bit of advice.
I was actually just going to echo that exact same thing. Learn to act. Try to get time with the microphone. Because what I've found is the people who take to voiceover the easiest are singers, people who are used to hearing their own voice. A friend of mine, my friend Tommy Smelter, who started as an engineer and is now a voiceover artist, he says his advice to people is always read out loud for an hour every day for 2 weeks, then come back to me. Because it gets you used to hearing your voice and knowing how you speak. Because you can't control, and a lot of voiceover, the technical part of it, the non-acting part, is about control. You can't control your voice until you know your voice.
And sometimes if you have kind of like a bag, with lots of different voices already ready to go, you'll have more chances to work. Maybe try some accents, learn some different accents. Really pay attention to people. If you hear someone that's got an interesting voice, just watch them and the way they're moving their lips and how they're producing that sound, and just kind of have a little bag of tricks that you have.
Yeah. And we have a question in the middle again.
Can you guys do British accents?
Yes,
No.
Yes, we all can do British accents, but I'll tell you the difficulty with British accents today. It's no longer, the BBC. It's not the Beeb voice. You got all kinds of different ways of speaking. You're such a mixed up nation now it's possible that somebody can be raised in Scotland and then spend some time in Soho, so they got a strange kind of Cockney mixture or something. It's very hard to pin down exactly where people come from in England today. And for Americans, it's particularly engaging because you slip all over the place with it, if you know what I mean. So this is at least what's happened to me. It's very difficult for me to pin down exactly how to speak like someone from England today. I don't know about the other chaps. Let's see.
That sounded really good.
Never better.
No.
I can, but not here.
Right, exactly.
It's like, I don't speak French in France, where anyone can say, that's not right.
I read the paper, and I will read it like in my head and with different characters. If I get really bored, I already read the story, and there was a story in there about Egypt, of course, because it's in the news. And believe it or not, since I'm here, I'm picking up British accents all over the place, and I love it because you speak English. You don't speak American. You know, Americans sound like dogs barking, if you want to know my opinion. You know, you just make up a story. Like, I was visiting Egypt, yeah, right? And all of a sudden, my wife has a picture of me looking up the asshole of the Sphinx.
No!
It was rather dreadful, but very unique. Yeah, right?
Not a country accent.
We have another question in the same place in the middle.
These people are very good. The rest of you did not do your homework.
Yeah, come on, join in.
You all right, Phil? It's a question about the Clone Wars, and just to explain the process and where you know how much of an honor it was working for Lucas and things.
I came onto the Clone Wars series after the first few episodes, the ones that they had made into the feature film, and it was really, I mean, just amazing to be part of the Star Wars world. And Dave Filoni, who's the director in charge of Clone Wars, is really an artist, and he's, I think, doing wonderful work. I feel like the computer-generated acting in the Clone Wars series is actually better than the real live acting in the prequels. And what he's done in terms of building this storyline, and it's amazing because the limitations he has, like, all right, you have to fit in between this existing movie and this existing movie. These characters already here, and some of them aren't in this last movie, so you either have to kill them off or explain where they went. And within those limitations, I think they've been able to do just some wonderful, wonderful work.
And we've got time for at least 2 more questions, and we're going to move away from the middle, right the way over to the back, over here.
Extremists, go ahead.
Hi there. Okay, just a quick question. Have you had any input to the design of your characters in any of your cartoon shows?
Good question. Good question.
You're not going to get a seat in the middle with that kind of question.
You mean the physical design?
You know what a lot of people have done is the animators sometimes come down and film you while you're performing, and they'll create little nuances of the faces you make because they want to try to get it, you know, kind of genuine. Like Ren and Stimpy, they used to have cameras in the window, and Stimpy has like crow's feet because I do. You know, I was like that. They're actually ostrich feet. But you know, little faces and stuff. That's as far as it goes.
Generally, the voice acting comes in farther along down the line. Like the character design is done far before we get involved in the process, generally speaking.
Yeah, it's true that you really are always interacting with your director, whom you trust to be your ears, especially in the beginning. And you do bring certain aspects to your character that are then refined by their response to what it is you do. Dr. Warren Vidic has become a particular kind of soft-spoken villain over the 3 episodes that I've been able to do because of the interaction with the director and the writers who are in the room and keep an eye on the form of the character from one of the games to the next, so that it's consistent, but it still can get more colors and go in slightly different directions. It's a wonderful interactive process.
Yeah, I would say it's more the other way around. We're influenced by the design of the character. If I'm showing a model sheet, say of the Brain, not to keep bringing him back, but when they showed me the Brain, they did not have Orson Welles in mind, but I saw Orson Welles on that face, even though he was based on somebody completely different, a writer named Tom Minton. So that influenced me to do the Orson Welles character, or the Orson Welles voice for him, and suddenly they thought that was absolutely right, to have that deep, bassy kind of voice come out of that little mouse with a huge head seemed right. So I think it's more the other way around. The character design influences us, the actors.
That's true.
He's back in the middle again.
Yes, our final question is from the middle.
You know what? If I had to bet, that's what I would have guessed.
Yeah? Good odds.
Can I use a lifeline?
Ooh.
Oh.
What do you want to ask the audience?
Okay.
I was going to ask, have any of you seen the half-hour special of the Hypnotoad?
Oh.
I tried. I really tried to get through it. I could only get through about 3 minutes of Everybody Loves Hypnotoad, but yeah, I tried to watch it. It was an attempt. It's basically 3 minutes of.
I watched it, but I don't remember it.
You don't remember the best line in it? It was.
I'm too stupid to be hypnotized.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have time for on our panel today. Please give a massive round of applause to our panelists.
Thank you very much.
We have Phil Porter.
Thank you.
Maurice LaMarche. Keep them going. Lauren Tom. Phil Lamar. And of course, Billy West. And don't forget, they will be doing signings and photos today. So if you haven't had your chance, please go and get your chance to meet them. And up next, we have our exclusive X-Men First Class